Recording, yep, here we go. All right, let's see. So was there anything funny that happened on our... we saw a fist fight between a youngish Romanian and about an 85-year-old German dude, I think. Yeah, they were fighting over saving seats in the theater. So yeah, it was tense. The Romanian dude was holding the seat for his wife, I think, and then the other guy was like, "You're not allowed to save seats." They said that, and yeah, it escalated quickly. I broke the chair I was sitting in on that, so maybe that adds some credence to the whole donkey story now. But I think it was for a different reason. The chair in the theater wasn't actually, it didn't break as much as it just disassembled. Because you sat down and it was like this wide, but I'm that wide. So when I sat down, I kind of pushed the sides out, which then just detached it from the seat, which just fell straight down. I thought about sitting there for a little bit, then I gave up on that. So yeah, and then we had the fist fight, so I had pretty good seats for that. Let's see. So let's go to our driver here. So we tried, what we're trying to do is we're trying to mimic what our thing in Alice looks like. So when we first come into our game, we have a scene that gets created. And what do? We call our thing called My First Method, which is what we had in Alice. So here's our scene. And inside of our scene, we're remembering a bunch of things. We're remembering our 10 individual Monkey Kings. All right. And then we also have our one Mad Hatter. So those are the guys that made up our tic-tac-toe scene. Go ahead.
Do the screen capture thing?
Yep, I did.
Oh.
Yep, thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah, I checked before because sometimes depending on what screen you're on, it doesn't show up top. I think the menu takes over the little slot in there. So, but yeah, it's better safe than sorry. So these are all the dudes that will play a role in our scene, Monkey Kings and Mad Hatters, and we kind of mimicked how this works in Alice, where we have a parent class called Biped, and Bipeds have a paint that we started off as normal, and we have the ability to get the paint. This was our ability we were trying to mimic the way the Monkey Kings work, right? And then all bipeds can say something, so we can print out a message or pass it a message and tell it to say something. So these are common abilities of anything that's a biped. If we open up the keynote here. Yeah, we were talking about inheritance, how modern object-oriented languages manage inheritance. So at the very top level of any object-oriented language, we have this thing called an object. Most languages just call it object. Sometimes Objective-C calls it NS object, that kind of stuff. But at the very top, we have an object, which is the most generic form of something that still meets the requirements of an object in that language. All right? Underneath that, a night in prison in Guatemala. That's pretty interesting. I'm still stuck on that. That's. See, I've always told my wife it would be awesome to be like homeless in China for a month. Can you imagine how quickly you'd have to learn Chinese if you were homeless in China for a month? So did you like build houses and stuff on this trip? That was the one house, and was it a success? And was it for a specific family, or was there like a drawing? Was it like for one of those TV shows, like where they have you seen that show? Where they have like 4 or 5 different families and they help build this house, and they usually go into like some dumpy house and they like rehab it, and then at the end depending on the effort they put in and stuff like that, some family gets voted off the island, and they think that they're going for they're all working on these houses so that somebody gets the final mansion, but every single time they dump somebody off the island, they get that house they just built. That's their consolation prize, so they get a house. So it's
on an island.
No, I'm kind of connecting it for you to like Survivor. You
Okay.
get voted off the island. Yeah, that kind of same thing. Think no electricity. So, like, how big of a house was this? Did you build it from scratch, or did you fix it?
We have to do the cement, like leveling all the way up to the roof.
All right, so
It's not super huge. I mean, it's 3 bedrooms, but they're all smaller than this room.
okay, but you built this house from scratch. Is this the first time you've done this?
I went last year too.
Okay, so you've built two. You know how to build a house.
That kind of house, yeah.
Oh, so what's the difference between that kind of house and like a house here?
Well, we don't do like insulation or anything like that. We do a little bit of electrical work.
Okay. Well, it's hot there.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need insulation. You
Well, I'm
need.
just saying, like,
Is there air conditioning? Oh, you need air conditioning. You couldn't throw a window unit. Do you have electricity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just for like really small lights.
Oh, so this isn't like a. It's. I mean, this is. Which is worse, that or the Guatemalan prison? Was it the prison had delivered. Prison had delivered food. Apparently, they had room service. That's awesome. What was I talking about? Oh, Guatemalan prisons. That's right. All right. So this is our inheritance model. So we decided that off of our object, we have all these things. We tried to mimic what's in Alice. So we have bipeds and flyers and props and all these things. We have just implemented this one little piece because we're not going to write all of Alice in our little project. So we've decided that we're going to create a biped class, but only a very, very specific portion of that biped class rather than all the things a biped can do. I mean, if we, do I still have Alice open here? If you remember correctly. Oh, it's very nice. There we go. So if we go into, well, I guess let's just look at this from a Mad Hatter's perspective. So this guy is a biped, all right? And we know that we didn't write a whole bunch of extra crap in here. In fact, let me just do this. So these are all the procedures. Pretty much everything that's in here is stuff that all bipeds can do. So all bipeds can straighten out their joints, they can delay, they can play audio, they can set a vehicle that they're going to be attached to, opacity, paint, resizing themselves, all that stuff. All right, so bipeds can do a lot of things. We've decided to limit the number of things our bipeds can do to paint-related stuff and then saying something. So we've implemented a very small portion of the biped class. All right. Let's see what else. Oh, I had a guy on the plane try to take the seat next to me. So you like, how many of you have ever flown Southwest? You like Southwest? Yeah, you know how you have like the whole cattle call where you have to stand in line to get on you fight for your seat. I don't have to do that because I'm fat. Oh, I love Southwest. They give me this extra little piece of paper that says seats reserved for the seat next to me. And I get to get on it first too. So I go on with the wheelchair people. It's awesome. And the whole flight was full. So for all I know, they had to bump somebody off the flight for my extra seat. It's like royalty. I mean, this is like Guatemalan McDonald's delivery.
Both to and from at the emergency exit row, there was one seat open. So it was like me, no one, and my girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah. And the emergency exit, so you could be the first to survive.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The lady behind me, she was telling her husband, like, go for that, we're the first ones off.
Yeah, but so the guy got on the plane late, and the whole plane was just packed, I guess. And so they told him he had to find a seat so they can take off. And so he wanted to sit next to me, and there's like no room. It's like me and then half a seat and then my wife. Now, I do have an insurance plan, though, so I have a pocket wife. My wife's tiny. So half the time I don't have to buy a ticket for her. I just put her in the overhead. Yeah, so she likes having a full seat to herself. So that's the nice thing on Southwest. But this guy wanted the seat. He was upset when I showed him my seats reserved card. It's like, well, do you really want to sit here anyways? You only get half a seat. No, but I guess he found another seat in the back, or maybe they just put him in the bathroom or something. I don't know. Yeah, love Southwest. They cater to fat people. They don't charge me for it either.
I get either A1 through 15 for free because of my height. So like the business select.
Okay. Is your height?
Yeah. Because I don't fit in a normal seat. My legs physically don't fit from the back of the seat.
Oh, are they bigger? There's more leg room up there?
And the emergency exit, yeah.
Oh, so they give you the first group so that you can have a high % chance of getting an emergency exit row. I got you.
They already have cheap flights to begin with, too.
I know. Well, I get basically 2 flights for the price of 1. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Actually, it was what was it last? Was it in January? Maybe it was in January. Going down to Florida, they had the audacity not to have an extra seat for me. It gets better. So the plane was like overbooked, like too many people, and they would have kicked somebody off for me. They told me, but so they sent me down to talk to the gate agent person. They brought the manager over. He was real nice. He said, can you do me a big favor? Basically, if we let you onto the flight early, still give me the pre-board pass, so you can go and find a good seat. Could you not require the extra seat? So I can kind of do that. I can just kind of squeeze in up on the side, or I can sit on the aisle. I have my wife just get half a seat, and they gave me $100 for my trouble. We won't give you your free extra seat, fat guy, and here's $100 for you. That's awesome. That beats Guatemalan prison. Oh, so good. All right, so we're only implementing a very small portion of bipeds, and then we've implemented 2 specific types of bipeds, Monkey Kings and Mad Hatters. And let's see what we did with those guys. So here's a Mad Hatter. He's got nothing in there, and a Monkey King also has, Monkey King, we associated those couple of attributes that we had done inside of Alice. So Monkey Kings, remember who moved them. Those were attributes we added. They also know whether or not they're shrunk, and they're also keeping track of their original paint. So these are these variables, the memory, that we've attributed specifically to Monkey Kings. That's what differentiates them in our world from a generic biped. Okay? Because both Monkey Kings and Mad Hatters are both bipeds, yet Mad Hatters don't get these extra variables here. We associated those with Monkey King specifically. All right, and then we have the ability to set the original paint color back to something else. All right, so that's kind of the world we've built up here. Looks like this. We have our object, we have our biped, Monkey King and Mad Hatter, and then over on the side we also really have we can probably throw another dude in here. Here's our scene. And we've implemented this guy as well. And he doesn't do a whole lot. We just, that one scene just has that one method, called what, my first method or something? Yeah, here's my first method. All right, and then the rest of the stuff that's going on in here are the actors, our bipeds that are part of the scene. And then here's the play tic-tac-toe and that kind of stuff. All right, and we need to write the shink method apparently. Okay, so when we play tic-tac-toe, and let's kind of model this off of Alice. Here's our scene. Here's our play tic-tac-toe. So that's this guy right here. So we have all of our Monkey Kings, and we're also keeping track of a position. So we're going to scoot that over. There we go. So here's our Monkey Kings. We have 9 of them. Here's our position. Mad Hatter then says, let me set up the board. So he's going to say something. So we have our Mad Hatter say, let's set up the board. And then we're going to go through all of our Monkey Kings. So while pause, which start off as 0, is less than 9, we're going to do some stuff. And what are we going to do? We're going to tell our scene to shrink a specific Monkey King. So we taught our scene how to shrink somebody. So let's go into that. We'll open up shrink. So here's shrink. Shrink takes in a single Monkey King as a parameter, and he resizes that guy, and then sets his shrunk variable, and then also sets who moved me to -1 to kind of set that, set him up as I have not been moved yet. All right, so we need to go ahead and create that shrink procedure inside of scene. And this guy takes in a Monkey King. We call it MK. Takes in a Monkey King as a parameter. That's his input. And he's going to go ahead and resize that guy. Now, we're going to try to mimic this as closely as possible, seeing as though we want to see that transition from Alice to Java, but in our world here, shrinking might not make tons of sense, but we'll do it anyway. So we did teach bipeds. Oh, we didn't teach them how to shrink, did we? It's going to be more trouble than it's worth, probably. Says we're not going to visually see them on the screen. Let's not worry about their actual height and stuff. We'll just set these couple of variables. The set is shrunk and the set who moved me. So that's something that Monkey Kings have. So we're going to say mk.isShrunk is equal to true. Yes, I'm shrunk. And then mk.set, is it just who moved me? Who moved me is equal to -1. Okay, so we'll set those couple of attributes there. So this is what's actually happening under the hood for our shrink method. We just won't actually physically shrink something that we're not going to be able to see on the screen anyways. These guys are all going to be just text-based. All right. So that's all that shrink does. So we go back to play tic-tac-toe. This loop goes through all of our Monkey Kings and shrinks each one of them, and then increments pause. All right, so that's what we're doing with this while loop right here. We're going through and calling it the shrink function or the shrink procedure on every single one of our Monkey Kings inside of our array of Monkey Kings. Here's our Monkey Kings. MK1, MK2, this is bucket 0, this is bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, so on and so forth. We'll go through all of these guys. So here is us calling the MKs at position pause, and we were telling that guy to shrink, but it's not the Monkey King that knows how to shrink, it is our scene that knows how to shrink a Monkey King. We could certainly teach a Monkey King how to shrink themselves. We could have written that procedure on the Monkey King side, but we didn't. Instead, we taught our scene how to shrink a Monkey King. We handed them a Monkey King, and they do the whole witch doctor thing, and Monkey King shrinks. All right, so we're not calling shrink on this Monkey King. Instead, we're calling the shrink function, giving it a Monkey King. That's the shrink function we wrote right up here, and he takes in a Monkey King as a parameter. All right, so we'll tell him to shrink, and here's the Monkey King we want to shrink, and then we'll make pause one bigger than it used to be. All right, what's up next? So that just finished this part of the code. So now we create a couple of local variables. We have a user input, which is 0, a player, we called it player mover, whatever, which is 0. A move success is false, and an is winner is false. So these are 4 local variables. These are not attributes that belong to the scene or belong to a monkey king or anything. These are variables that live and die with this particular procedure. Make sense? Okay, so the scope of those variables is local to this particular procedure. So we're going to create 4 variables here. User input, player mover. So we have int, user input, what did I start off at? 0. Int, player mover was also 0. And then move success and is winner are both Booleans. Remember, Java and Alice are both strongly typed languages, which means that we have to define a kind of value that each variable is built to hold. All right, so we have move success and is winner, but both of these guys are of type Boolean rather than whole numbers. All right. So we have Boolean move success is equal to false. Boolean is winner is equal to false. So these are some local variables for us to work with. Where do you guys stay in Guatemala besides the prison?
There's a compound that we stayed at, provided by the
Okay, but so better than the prison. So what kind of did you have air conditioning?
No.
That's roughing it.
There's no hot water, so you take cold showers, military showers.
Well, you probably need the cold showers. As hot. What was the temperature in Guatemala?
During the days it was like 80, but it got chillier during the night because we were like at a higher elevation.
Okay.
So the mountains area we were in.
So you didn't necessarily need air conditioning at night. You were shivering.
Not shivering, but it was chilly.
Hey. I'm trying to think how far I was from Guatemala. Guatemala is what, north of Panama? Okay. Let's see where that is on a map. Let's see. Google Maps. It's probably just maps.google.com. Let's zoom in on this. See where that prison is. All right, so this is where you were. I was near here. It's kind of close. We had air conditioning. Yeah. And we had all these first run movies in our. Did you have first run movies in your? Did you have TVs?
No.
So you were like in a military camp building a house.
Kind of, yeah.
But it was for a good cause. Did you have to pay to go on the trip?
Yeah.
All right, so well, for starters, from a Christian perspective, these people needed help, so that's what the whole purpose of the mission trip is. But it is kind of ironic. How much was the trip?
Between 800 and 900.
And that was included flight?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad. I mean, was this like a
Subsidized by the CMLT.
okay? I mean, was this like a normal plane or
Yeah.
Guatemalan military plane? They duct tape us to the bottom of a glider. All right, so you pay like $1,000 to go down to a third world country. One of the people had prison accommodations. The rest of you basically had prison accommodations. Just your door wasn't locked. That was really the difference.
Yeah.
His door was locked for a night. Yours, you were able to move freely.
And he got McDonald's.
You got McDonald's. Did you guys have McDonald's? Like,
We could have. There was one there, but I don't think anyone went to.
there was McDonald's nearby. So this was. I mean, was this like a relatively built-up city? They just have. It's like proof that there's McDonald's everywhere.
Well, we flew into Guatemala City because that's like the only area in the country that has an airport.
Okay.
They had McDonald's there, but then we went up northwest to San Raimundo where we stayed. There was nothing.
Okay.
All, like,
So how far northwest was this? Like
an hour drive, but it probably wasn't that far because
I got you. So, but you say drive, and was there a car?
Yeah, we were on a bus like flying through the mountains.
Okay, so not like
We're one of those like weird, like you're like the bus is here, the side of the mountain's
Yeah.
here.
like Guatemalan elephants. They just had them. They just like put some like 2x4s just across. So that's how you traveled by elephant, Guatemalan elephant, no elephants. What kind of llamas? What kind of? They gotta have like worker things down there.
Yeah,
Cows, lots of cows.
Yeah.
Well, people don't ride cows. It's weird. I don't even know why you brought that up. So let's see, where was I? I left from here, and we went down through here, and I think we were in here, and we were here. I'm guessing yeah, I think we came up back through here and zipped back up. So I was at the closest right here. Yeah. That wasn't a Guatemalan prison. There's a brig on these ships in case we have the pirates. That happens. Not here, but yeah, I think yeah, it's over. It's like a geography class. Yeah, I think they've had issues with cruise ships in this part of the world getting taken over by pirates. Wouldn't that be awesome?
They're not the fun kind of pirates, though.
What does that even mean? The fun kind of pirates?
They're not like parrot on the shoulder, rum, R.
Cannons.
Yeah, oh, pirate.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine the story. I mean, like this guy spent a night in a Guatemalan prison. That's a story. Like, how was your trip? Well, besides the Guatemalan prison, I mean, if you were held hostage on a cruise ship by
You gotta compensate, too. You probably gotta-
free cruise.
Yeah.
So somebody waving to me in the hall.
When you go again, hope more pirates come.
Seriously, yeah.
Take it as a-
But you want it to be the last day of the trip.
Yeah. You go to-
You want them to just drop you off and steal the ship. That's what, then you get a free cruise. Let's see. Where am I going? I'm going here in June. Probably not staying. We'll probably have air conditioning, I think. Man, I don't know how do you live without air conditioning now? Wasn't that horrible? Well, I mean, I like warm weather too. You go out and golf and fish, and you get sweaty, and then you come in and take a shower and chill in the air conditioning.
You can't sleep when it's like hot and sweaty.
One of the times I was in Guatemala, it was hitting like 105 and we didn't have air conditioning. It was horrible.
So what do you do?
Try to survive. Drink a lot of water. Bottled water.
Somebody brought the one Bear Grylls book.
Staying for a night during the start of the year.
It's the same thing. It's equivalent. It's like that plus the Guatemalan prison.
The thing was with like the places I've stayed, what they do to heat water is they have like a tin roof and there's some type of water tank on the roof so that it's just heated by
But the sun,
energy,
right.
Yeah. And that doesn't stop if it's 105 degrees out, so like we still have warm water the entire time. So we didn't even have cold water to use. And it's like, oh man.
We're probably gonna get like flagged by the NSA here, like on this video. We're investigating maps. It's like here over here, and yes, oh yeah, this is the ISIS place, right? Isn't Syria? That's yeah. See, now we have the key word in there. You said it. Yeah, I wanted to go into Egypt. We were from Israel. They were going to take us on the Exodus road down through here and into Egypt. My wife was afraid of sand pirates.
The same people from Star Wars?
No. Apparently, the folks that are trying to break the Egyptian economy attack their tourism. This is a big tourism place, right? So there's sand pirates that take over like tour buses. Man, wouldn't that be awesome to spend like a week in a sand pirate death camp in Egypt? Really? You don't think that'd be good?
Oh, lose some weight. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Seriously, I put on 18 pounds on that cruise. So much alcohol. This is ridiculous. Yeah, but my wife, she nixed the Egypt trip. Apparently she didn't want to end up in an Egyptian hospital because you know what they have in the Egyptian hospitals. She showed me a picture of her perception of what the average Egyptian hospital looked like. What do you think she showed me? Well, that's just weird. So you might think, like maybe kind of a rundown hospital, metal tables, something like that. No, she showed me a hospital room with 3 living cobras in it. Every hospital room in Egypt comes with cobras, apparently. That makes sense. So
Cobra charmer.
I googled Egyptian hospital and it's got rooms with lots of cats in them.
yeah, she showed me that too, and I said, "Well, you want the cat room or the cobra room?" I mean, we have a comfort dog wandering campus. It's just cats all over the place in Egypt. People comfort cats, right? Except they probably steal your food. But you want to eat the food? Egyptian McDonald's? It's like Guatemalan McDonald's, except I don't know. Doesn't each McDonald's culture have like a special so in Guatemala? What was the McDonald's?
They had a lot of fried chicken.
McDonald's had fried chicken in the menu just randomly. I mean, we have chicken nuggets here. That's fried chicken.
Yeah, but like even their Guatemalan fast food chains, they were all like based on fried chicken.
Okay.
That's the first picture that came up for Egyptian hospital. That's pretty nice to me.
Seriously,
That looks like fancy.
you haven't seen the inside.
That's what they
That's what they get you.
Yeah, the inside's been gutted by wild cats.
Sand pirates.
Seriously, man, I'm looking forward to the Sand Pirates. Yeah. The other thing that she didn't like about Egypt is the squat toilets. The squat toilet. What do they have squat toilets in? What do they have in Guatemala? No air conditioning. I can't imagine the bathroom facilities were amazing.
Well, everywhere we were, it was fine. You just couldn't throw the toilet paper in the actual toilet. You
So-
just throw them.
Just throw it on the wall. That you throw it on the ground, so that place must have stunk pretty bad.
No, only the airport did.
I don't know. Hey,
How was security in Guatemala airport?
You could get through it. Like people are walking through it, and it wasn't a big deal. But like they had hand sanitizer and stuff in the pocket, where like in the U.S. you totally get stopped. You
okay.
had to clean out your pockets. It didn't matter.
This guy walked through with a sword. It was not just out. He walked through. We're not accomplishing anything. I'm not even completely back. My flight came in at 2 in the morning or something. So, what's up? Yeah, it was.
You were still on vacation this morning.
I'm usually on campus by 7:30. I didn't wake up till 9:30. So it was interesting.
What you scored your best game of golf?
I didn't play.
Really?
Yeah, we were shopping for condos down there. So my wife drugged me all over Southeast Florida. Yeah, I know. Seriously. It is sad. But I would assume best game I played 3 times, I probably would have shot a 70, 77, 78, probably for best, not playing very often. Probably first round out would have been like an 84. That would be my guess. Okay, so let's finish at least play tic-tac-toe here. All right, so we got our 4 variables here. These guys, and then we wrote a loop here that says we're going to keep repeating this. So loops are for repetition. We're going to keep repeating this as long as there is not a winner. All right, so we're operating off of this variable here called isWinner that we created that started off as false. So this says while winner is equal to false. That's what this while loop effectively says. So while not winner is true, that's like saying while winner is false. All right. So we're going to keep repeating all of this stuff in here as long as that's a true statement with the expectation that isWinner potentially could change inside of this loop. So we'll go ahead and write that starting loop. So while not isWinner, let's do some stuff. So this is the same thing as saying while isWinner is equal to false. Those are equivalents. In fact, we'll leave it written like this for right now. That might be a little cleaner for most of us. All right, so while isWinner is equal to false, let's do some stuff. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to go ahead and read something in from the user. And who's going to read it in? The Mad Hatter. So the Mad Hatter is going to get some information from the user, get integer from user. Please make a move. So we're going to have to teach our Mad Hatter how to read something in from the user. So right now, Mad Hatters don't know how to do anything. Let's see. In our world, Monkey Kings never ask the user for anything. Realistically, I think in Alice, whatever is the parent class of Biped is probably the one that asks for information. So if we come back here to this guy, there must be, so realistically, scene probably lives up here. We could probably figure out what it is here. Let's see. All right, so these are all classes. So we have biped, flyer, prop, but I think flyers and props, because we used a prop class before, didn't we? Yeah, didn't we use one of these shrines or something? I think the shrine was able to get user input. So there must be a parent class to all of these guys. It's just listed under all classes. So I'm guessing that's probably something like an Alice object. So there probably exists something like maybe an Alice scene object, something like that. And all of these guys are one of those. And the actual ability to read stuff in from the user probably lives inside of the Alice scene object, as opposed to inside of a biped or inside of a Monkey King or a Mad Hatter. Okay? But for us, let's go ahead and actually write it inside of Mad Hatter, just since we have space there, and that'll allow us to differentiate our Monkey Kings from Mad Hatters. In our world, the Mad Hatter is the guy who's actually going to interact with us. So that's what makes him special in our little world. Makes some sense? So we're making some decisions here that deviate from Alice, but again, we're not trying to recreate the entire Alice ecosystem here for our little game. But I just wanted to kind of show that at least as an example. Okay. So now we need to teach our Mad Hatter how to read stuff in from the user, and just so we can, we're spending a lot of time designing here. I'm going to go back to driver, and for right now, I'm going to comment out my scene. And we're going to go ahead and teach our Mad Hatter how to read something in from the user and then spit it back out in our last couple of minutes, just so we improve how we do user input. Okay? So inside of our Mad Hatter, which is a biped, we're going to have a, let's just do it this way. It's called, well, here, let's just make a guess of it real quick. So void get input from user. This guy takes in a string message. We're going to create something in here called scanner input is equal to a new scanner system.in. I'll explain most of this next time what it does. So let me actually just do this. I need to import scanner here from java.util. All right, so we're going to go ahead and say system.out.print message. And then we're going to say string answer is equal to input dot next line. And then just for right now, we'll say system.out.println answer. So our Mad Hatter will know how to get input from the user given a message. He creates this scanner thing around system in, which I'll explain next time. He prints out the message, he reads in the answer, and then spits out the answer proving he read it in. So let's just quickly in our driver create a Mad Hatter. Get input from user, pick a number, something like that. So we'll go ahead and run this. It says pick a number, we'll put in a 5, and now it should just read that in and then print it right back out to us. There's our 5. All right, so that's how we can do some user input. That's our way of faking it. All right, questions, comments, concerns? All right, no homework. I'll get my homework is to finish the exams and get them back to you. They'll either be posted tonight or relatively early tomorrow. All right, and I'll see everybody on Wednesday. Guatemalan prison. Very interesting. Sounds like an exciting trip.